Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Cast Brothers. It's that Smash Brothers podcast where we do the thing all the time. There's three different things we do, and today we're doing the third thing. That is the Smash or Dash. It's in the title. If you couldn't tell what kind of episode this was, then you probably had us on autoplay. Which, thank you, I guess. I don't know if that's good or bad. Probably good.
Thank you for listening to us during your household activities,
or just needing white noise on while you mow the lawn. Either or.
This podcast is 3/4 white noise.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Listen, most people listening to most podcasts are just white noise for people. Let's be fucking honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, if you haven't binge watching us and just having us on our play, you probably don't need to know who we are. But in case you aren't, I'm Zantok, otherwise known as Lister. That's Jonno, otherwise known as Jonathan Jones. We're here
for Johnny.
Or Johnny 5, Johnny Kukui, Johnny Bravo.
Yep.
Thank God we can't do that with me. Cheer,
Johnny Fives.
Hey,
Johnny Fives.
You just need to make like a bunch of Johnny. Like you just need to have like a Johnny event match that you just make.
Yeah,
it's like all the Johnny characters they're never gonna make a moveset for, but they fight each other or something. I don't know.
Or I make a moveset for all of them. Imagine that.
Good luck.
That's the next year for me is in Smashopia.
You're gonna make 7 different characters that are either Johnny or like Johnny's the real name. Like you could do like the Masked Royal for Kukui instead. Mm-hmm. You know, make him be different, and it's just like an event match where you fight all 7 of them.
Yeah, you would be incensed if I was like, I'm gonna do a Johnny every 2 weeks.
Honestly, if you did do 7 Johnnies of some form, maybe there's Jonathans in there as well, or Johns even. And you tie it up with an event match against all 7 of them. Mm-hmm. So long as you finish the project and see it all the way through, I will not be incensed. But if you don't finish it out, then I'm gonna be pissed. Like if you're gonna do like there are some bits that get run to the ground, but there are some bits that's like, okay, here's a long form bit that you commit to. Which is spoiled because we're talking about it, so it's kind of not really it's not really a log con anymore. It's just hey, I'm giving you a project.
Hey, let's do this.
Yeah.
When I was more active on the wiki, you used to give me projects all the time.
I
miss those days.
I can give you more.
You sure can. Is this the first one?
I'll give you a list of like 50 Johnnies to choose from. Like, all right, here's your choices. There's John Raimi. There's Jonathan Jones.
Johnny Sasaki.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, but Johnny 5, Johnny Bravo. I'd have to look up some more. John Jones.
Oh. I know if I say yes, you're going to end up committing and actually make a list. So
you're goddamn right I would, because I'm an insane person. I wrote a 6-page essay of how I would have changed Phase 3 of the MCU. Come on, I'm not a sane person. Okay? Jesus Christ.
Let's do it. All right, now that we have finished the negotiation table, and I'm committing to 7 Johnnies on the Smashopia wiki for the foreseeable future. Smash or dash? Actually, no. Rate their chances. That's the thing that we do.
We've got 5 Johns here to talk about. No, we don't. No.
Oh yeah.
We could do like a series of just of John characters one day.
That would be pretty funny, and then follow it up with a series of
we'd have to have TurboTax Rock for that day.
I have a couple of bits for him.
That's a good one.
So there's a certain item I want to share with him.
I thought you already did. I'm pretty sure you've already done your
I don't think
Primavera
so.
as a showcase when he was on. I'm pretty goddamn sure.
Can I do it again?
No.
We rated Tails twice.
I don't care.
No, I didn't do the Primavera. At least it's not in our database.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't see it on either of the top because I did completely refresh that tab, so it's possible I'm missing. But I don't see on like the overall representation tab either. So you must have had it planned because I remember seeing it written down. But maybe that episode had to get punted. Oh, I think it.
Oh, yeah. I'm seeing it right.
Season that we moved it. Yeah.
Well,
I bet
we can just kind of.
Yeah, just write that
slip
down.
that right there.
I hate it, but just write it down. God, I hate what that's called. Anyways, rate their chances. I'm going to try and bring things together here because if I don't, we never will. So we got 5 characters that are kind of a random smattering. Jonno picked these 5. So if you have any issues, blame him.
Yeah.
And we're gonna rate them as we usually do. The rules are we get to figure out, like, okay, what are the odds we think these characters will be playable in the next Smash Brothers game, and we have to rate them on a scale of 1 to 99% because nothing's guaranteed either way. All of our fan rules have been getting broken one by one. Literally, the only thing left is video game characters only, and I'm just praying that one stays. I don't care about the other rules. Just like, please. Please.
Imagine Spider-Man's confirmed in the next game. You're like, yeah, no, no, yes, no, no.
God damn it. Technically, there is one rule that is hanging by a fucking thread, and that's no unique kits from the same third-party franchise. And I say it's hanging on a fucking thread because of Sephiroth. It's like, okay, it's 2 from the same game, but we only have 2 from like multiple Final Fantasy. We don't have like 2 different multiple Final Fantasy characters yet. It's like, all right, it's like it's on fucking life support. But it's borderline dead.
We get Clive in the next game, it's done.
If we get literally anybody that's not from 7, it's done.
Yeah.
Although we're getting Clive in Tekken, so I don't think we're going to get Clive in the next Smash.
We're going to get Tella in Smash.
No. If we're going to get a mage character from Final Fantasy in Smash, can it please be either the classic Black Mage, Yuna, Terra, Vivi, or I said Terra. Yeah, just them. Just them.
Yeah. I hope so.
Trying to think if there's literally anybody else I would consider. I guess Y'shtola or Alphino, if you want to consider them from 14.
The white mage from Mario Hoops 3-on-3.
That's just the white mage.
No, perfect.
Actually, you know what? Minwoo.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Actually,
throw Minwoo in there.
Out there, but good.
Anyways, rate their chances. First one of the day. I'm just gonna let you fucking start with this guy because I don't even know where to begin with Solaire of Astora from Dark Souls. What the fuck?
He has an amiibo and he salutes the sun, and we're recording in the morning today. You can see the sun blaring out of my window. This is the perfect opportunity to talk about such a guy. Wait, he praises the sun. Wii Fit Trainer salutes the sun.
Yeah. If he had a spirit battle, it would be Wii Fit Trainer easily.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you are the chosen undead in the first Dark Souls game, and Solaire is also yeah. Oh, that's true. I didn't know that actually. But he is an undead who's on a personal mission to find his very own son, and he has a sun outfit. He's wearing like a sun thing on his chest and a sun emblem on his shield, and you run into him throughout your journey, and he's like a jolly dude that you just happen upon, and he sees you and says, "Praise the sun," and lifts his arms into the air. So this is you might say, why not just go for the chosen undead? I don't know.
I know,
but we
because
had,
you're crazy,
yeah,
and you like to meme.
yeah, and yes, and we had, and we have an amiibo of him. I mean, surely that legitimizes it in some sense, just like QB and Goomba and Koopa. And Giant Yarn Yoshi. I would envision this character having all of the capabilities of Chosen Undead, but with a sun theme. What do you think about this, Zantok?
I okay. If they're going for Dark Souls and they decide they don't want to do the player character, he's the only other character I know of by name. So,
oh my god!
I guess what?
The amiibo's $150 right now. Anyway,
yeah, it's not in print anymore. Amiibos go up in price when they're not in print anymore.
Makes me. I
look at Palutena.
I know what I'm spending my money on today.
No, you're not.
Not that.
There you go. Yeah, that it was the amiibo made to promote the remastered version of the game that came out on Switch. When you use it, you could obtain the Praise the Sun gesture without needing the faith required to interact with the sunlight altar. So you basically just unlock an emote early. I guess. But as for this guy, I mean, I don't know really much about Dark Souls. I don't know if there's other like legit characters that you could pull from. I really know nothing. I don't think they would go with him over the Chosen Undead. I think maybe the Chosen Undead could get a costume where he wears the sun outfit. But I don't think there'd be anything else but that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that straight up costume very similar to what.
Or Chosen Undead Echo Fighter.
The Mad Lads. Apparently that is what he is looking for. Yeah. Can you hear me?
You've been cutting out. You also got a really loud background buzz going on.
Odd. Okay, hold on a minute. Hello.
Hi.
Yes. It is me. I'm here now.
You are. So yeah, basically with Solaire, it's like I just frankly do not see it. The only chance he has of being playable, I think, is a very rare chance of being an Echo Fighter for the Chosen Dead. And I don't even know if that's truly workable because I have not watched any Dark Souls game actually be played. I don't have really a big interest in them personally. I know there's a lot you could pull from for the main character, but I don't know shit. And depending on what, like, there's a variety of weapons and things, and like depending on what you go with, Solaire is just not workable. If you just give him basic things that Solaire can pull from, then Solaire could be a Echo Fighter. Otherwise, no. Apparently, he does have two of his own magic spells, though: Lightning Spear and Great Heal. He's got his own like actual equipment that is specific to him that you can see. So.
And apparently the Jolly Cooperation, where you're doing the Praise the Sun thing, is quite popular amongst Smash speculators for the Chosen Undead's Final Smash.
I mean, I think Praise the Sun would be a taunt. I don't know what the hell the actual Final Smash would be, but it would absolutely be a taunt.
Yeah, I could see Solaire appearing, with spiritually with his costume for the Chosen Undead, or as an assist trophy, playable, really off the rim chance, like you said.
I do like him as an assist trophy. I do like assist trophy chances actually. But playable, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm going with 2%, and that extra percent is only because of the wild card, not the normal wild card factor, but the wild card Echo Fighter factor. That's it.
Yeah. This is a greater discussion I'm not going to get into beyond just the top crust. Dark Souls might have a good shot of like having Smash representation. There's so much from Namco you could take from, but it's popular. Like you can do Chosen Undead or the Tarnished Elden Ring, and just call it a day.
I was about to mention Tarnished because like Souls-like games are very popular, yes, and it wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo is interested in representing that genre. But do they go with Dark Souls or do they go with Elden Ring, which is a separate franchise?
Right. Isn't Elden Ring getting ported to Switch too? Well, for another time, they'll figure that something. Yeah, exactly.
We previously rated the Tarnished, so I don't know.
Yeah. Would not be surprised, though. Like you said, it's popular. But as for Solaire himself, I'm going to even things out a little bit. I'll say 4% for everything that you said, and the sun has 4 points.
No, it doesn't.
North, south, east, and west.
There's 8 on his emblem.
Well, it has 4 points, but it also has 4 more points. So there's 8 total. In a sense, it has 1 point and 6 points, too. Anything 8 or under.
I'm moving on to the next character. The average status score between us is 3% for a Solaire. Next up, characters whose odds I think are kind of complicated to discuss. The Monster Hunter from Monster Hunter. Yeah. So here's why I'm saying it's complicated to think about. And this is kind of speculation where I'm going to. We don't necessarily know for sure what is true, what isn't true. And I'm pretty sure this has been discussed on the podcast before, but it would have been years ago. That's the point when we last talked about it. But back when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was being worked on, they were settling on the characters. The developers were discussing having a Monster Hunter representation. They went to the Monster Hunter team, and they were just like, no. Now, what exact reason they had for saying no, I have no idea, but they said no. It's like, okay, so they don't want to have a Monster Hunter character in this fighting game. Whether that meant they didn't want to have them in any fighting game or just at the time, or who knows, we don't really know. But then Marvel's Capcom Infinite came out, and we did get a Monster Hunter as a playable character in that. And they're actually in the story mode as somebody that is a loyal warrior following Black Panther. The rumor goes, and this is all unconfirmed, but the last I looked into things, the rumor went that they added the Monster Hunter to the game without the permission of the Monster Hunter team, or like they went behind their back or something along those lines. I don't know for sure, but that's what the rumor was at the time. And then I also recall during Smash Ultimate DLC, again, full speculation, full rumors. We don't know things for sure, but it was speculated that Monster Hunter was going to be in the game, but for whatever reason, the deal fell through, and they basically took the Monster Hunter animation skeleton that they had and slapped it onto Byleth. Now, again, is any of this true? We have no fucking idea. We only have rumors, speculation to go off of, but it makes discussing Monster Hunter and actually predicting their odds complicated, I think. There have been 2 new major Monster Hunter games released since all of this happened, with both Monster Hunter Rise, which had a very different looking Monster Hunter and had his dog companion. He had like a hookshot type deal. And then Wilds, which I looked at the art for the Monster Hunters in that game. It's like, oh, you kind of just like look like basic kind of dudes. That's not fun for the art I want to use for this episode. So I grabbed the character art from Marvel's Capcom Infinite because it looks better. And people always want the character in the Wrathful Armor, which that version of the character isn't. But I don't know really how to take this character other than say complicated, rumored past, and has a variety of tools that they could easily make a moveset out of. And whether you include the dog or the lizard thing from Wilds, you got some extra tools.
Yeah, definitely. It has a complicated history, like you said, and I think its chances are also kind of complicated. Monster Hunter had representation in Ultimate with Rathalos.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I forgot about that.
And yeah, and it's like, okay, why would we have potentially eschewed the character from the roster? Because Monster Hunter is about monsters.
Yeah.
You hunt monsters. Monsters are at the center of the world. Rathalos is an extremely popular monster from the series. It felt, normally a character would be the best representative of a series. Monster Hunter is a unique case where the monster might just be enough. It might just be now if Capcom were feeling it and they pushed for Monster Hunter to be playable in Smash, I'm pretty sure it would happen. Like it's monstrously popular. It's a massively popular game series. It's right up there with Street Fighter and Mega Man, like powering forward with Capcom being a mascot series with Palico and the Hunter. So it's hard to say. I mean, there's also just so many good character picks for Capcom, and we got none of them in Ultimate, besides Ken being an offshoot of Ryu, which like halfway counts. So it's interesting. I mean, are we going to get Chun-Li or another Street Fighter character? Are we going to get another Zero or another Mega Man character? Or what?
To literally any other franchise with Resident Evil, Ace Attorney, Okami, Monster Hunter, probably not Ghost Trick or Power Stone, Captain Commando,
Morrigan.
Yeah, Darkstalkers. There's so many
yeah.
Capcom franchises to look at. And Monster Hunter is like one of their top tier ones. But
yeah, and that's another, they are churning out Resident Evils all the time, and those are massively popular games too. We were expecting for a while, like, Chris or Leon to be an Ultimate. Didn't happen. So that muddies things up. The chances are certainly better than Solaire's.
Yes, easily.
They're fairly up there. There's, and I think the ratio between percentages for this character, like where it can land, is insane. Like it could be depending on where the whims are on the day that they make this roster for Smash 6, they could be way up there.
Yeah.
Or they could be down. They could be 10%. So it's the sliding scale is massive.
Yeah, it's like, when you have when you have to get a repairman out to your house, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll be there from anywhere between 12 and 4 o'clock. It's like, great, so I have to be ready for you anywhere between 12 and 4 o'clock. That's annoying, but you got to deal with it. Monster Hunter it's similar. It's like their chances theoretically could be anywhere from 10% to 70%. It's and the rumors really muddy things up. If we completely take them out of the equation, then I would be a lot more positive about Monster Hunter. But I am extremely cautious about my rating for them. Also, probably I don't know. I feel like there's other characters that can also have the same similar pool of, hey, look, here are all these weapons, and you have big swords and small swords and whatnot. It's that's also in itself a wide pool of just options. We just talked about Solaire, which he doesn't count in this, but we mentioned the Tarnished, we mentioned the Chosen Undead. They're in the same category that Monster Hunter is in as terms of what they could bring to the games as far as attacks and techniques.
Yeah, and
the Dragonborn,
these
too.
kind of games. Yeah, and action RPGs and like medieval action RPGs are popular now. There's a lot you can pull from this very specific subset. You're right, and then there's the Capcom of it all. Like we said, there's a billion characters they could choose that are all on very even playing fields. I'm gonna go a little. I feel a little high on this, but I'll say 35%.
Okay, when you said a little high, I thought you were going up way high. I was like, oh, thank God he didn't, because I'm definitely not going high. It's I'm very. I know I'm probably lowballing them. You said 35, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick him at. I'm gonna go a little bit higher than what I was initially thinking. and I'm going to stick it at 15.
Okay. A lot of deviation there.
Originally, I was thinking like 12. I was like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I think they absolutely have potential. They absolutely have potential.
Yeah.
And they even out to a clean 25% chance, which I think is fair.
Me too, yeah.
Next up, we have another character who theoretically could be in a similar bucket of, hey, look at all these tools, except I don't really know the character too well and what they actually have. I'm interested in their games, I just haven't gotten there yet. It's Alloy from the Horizon series. Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West.
And interestingly enough, I chose this character for Rate Their Chances, just as one of the more popular current Sony franchises to talk about. If we're going to talk about a Sony character, we've already done Kratos, and Last of Us has had some representation on the wiki. So I'm like, why not Horizon? And interestingly enough, I mean, since the time that towards the start of the season, like almost a year ago, when I decided like these are the characters we'll do here, Horizon has a game on the Switch.
Is it the Lego thing?
Yeah, you got the bit already, which is still weird.
It's so weird that it exists.
Yeah, it's seriously. Again, like why? There's not a movie tie-in or anything. They're just like, let's do this for some reason. But Sakurai had a lot to say about Horizon when the first game came out. He was positively comparing it to Breath of the Wild and like comparing and contrasting when those two games came out around the same time. So my interest has been piqued since then. I returned to like the Sony gaming fold in the PS4 era. I just haven't. There's so many games, and time doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Yeah, but from my meager understanding of what Ayla can do, technological dinosaur robots, bow and arrow that shoots cybernetic things.
Those got spear, tripwire, rope launchers, slings with fire elemental or explosive bombs, gun-like weapon that fires compressed air, and a shotgun-like close combat weapon.
Interesting. I do like the vibe where it's like a post-apocalyptic, but
after robots
animal. Yeah. And the weapons too. They're like old school weapons, but also not. It's all a contradiction, like a sci-fi contradiction. It's pretty neat. The character would be fairly capable. I view her kind of like a cross between like a Link and like a Lara Croft kind of thing.
Makes sense.
Which is
it's Lara Croft, but in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, can you imagine? Oh yeah, and it's Horizon. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she would be interesting for like a Smash or Dash or a Smashtopia. I think there's a lot you can take from here. But in the world of Rate Their Chances,
we got one big obstacle.
Yeah. It's Sony, and Sony still. I mean, up until even like the last few weeks that we've been talking about this podcast, they still have this backhanded relationship with Nintendo, going back to the time Nintendo screwed them over for Philips, the CDI. Where the current Sony president of Japan was like, Nintendo's doing great for the kids in the market. They don't have a good relationship. Sony doesn't have a good relationship with Xbox either. They're exclusive. They are very exclusive people, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
As we've and maybe on the other hand, Xbox is too much on the other end of that, but still.
So something I'm trying to research at the moment, but something that I go back to when it comes to like Sony and them not wanting to play nice is, remember when Minecraft announced cross-platform play and Nintendo and Xbox were clearly like they had their two Twitter accounts were, like going back for each other. It's like, hey, isn't it nice that we get to play with each other and have fun? It's like, yeah, it's so good that the two of us get to play together and share our game. And then Sony, because Sony was invited, and Sony's just like, No, we believe that the best way to play Minecraft is only on PlayStation consoles. Like, first of all, PC, you fucking idiot. Nothing. I know. PC, like, I'm not going to get into console wars and PC wars and all that, but Minecraft is very clearly best done on PC. Come the fuck on. Yeah. PlayStation and Sony, that guy is not there anymore, I don't think. Been extremely arrogant since the PS3.
Yeah, Jack Tretton. Good lord.
Yeah. That said, it does look like that they are now in the cross-platform bucket with Minecraft. So at least they've gone back on that. I don't know.
I remember back in the day they did it to Rocket League too.
Yeah. It was nuts. But they still traditionally don't like playing too nice with the other companies. Yeah. Like, you guys.
Which is sad. There are so many great first party IPs in the Sony cabal, and it feels like we're past the gaming wars of the 90s. It's to still be holding on to this exclusionary mindset feels outdated. And
like, Sega does what Nintendo don't. Stop making consoles.
Yeah.
I don't apologize, Sega fans. I'm sorry. They opened themselves up to it with that ad campaign. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with Alloy, like if we were discussing a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, or God, hope something with a better title than that, because Jesus, it's a mouthful. I would give Alloy Alloy's a guarantee to get in that game. I can't give her 100% chance because we don't do that. But she's a guarantee for Smash, for the next Smash game. Better than Solaire on a technicality, but worse than Monster Hunter.
In a way, yeah. And then you get into the mud. Like, if Sony's really going to push for a character in Smash, which is not going to happen, why would it be her? They'd be like, oh, Kratos.
I mean, both her and Kratos are up there. The argument for possibly doing Alloy over Kratos is a lot more brutal, and they might want a less brutal, like, brain bashing, arm tearing off character. And Alloy is a good pick for that. But they could also go with Astrobot or many other Sony mascots. Jin Sakai.
Yeah.
Ellie. There's a lot of options.
Abby you can go golfing with Mario.
That you can go with classic PlayStation icons: Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Parappa the Rapper. I can't say Spyro or Crash anymore because they're now owned by Microsoft. And boy, does it feel
Sly Cooper.
I would love it. He's not going to be if we get one Sony character into Smash, it's not going to be Sly. He's not going to be the one that they pitch. They're just not respecting him. But there's a lot of different potential icons. It's hard to say.
Astrobot was a good one. That would be
Astrobot arguably may be the best fit, but I don't know if that's who would be chosen.
Right. Yeah, 2%.
I was gonna go up to 5.
Okay.
Which will bring us to 3.5%. Just barely over Solaire.
Which is exactly why you gave her 5%.
Well, I mean, I gave Solaire 2. So, like, all right, 5 feels like a 3 didn't feel like it's enough more than Solaire. Moving on, though, we got 2 more characters to cover. First off, we got a pretty new person, only started existing a few months ago, Vox Reaper, from the latest Fatal Fury game, Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves. He is a street assassin who was hired to kill a guy named Kane R. Heinlein, who is a major character in the Wolves storyline specifically. And he's Geese's brother-in-law. Not Vox, but Kane is Geese's brother-in-law. That feels weird. And Vox is hired to go kill this guy. As far as his fighting style is concerned, apparently he is a replacement for a previous character called Grant, who plays similar to him from what because this is just trained by Grant himself. He's basically Grant's stand-in for the game, trading power with more flexibility that Grant didn't originally have. So we basically just have like a guy that replaced somebody else. And his move list is a red link, so I can't click on it, but maybe I can see what Grant's moves are, and then we'll know what he can theoretically do. What the fuck is this? Alright, so Grant's funky looking.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same page, probably.
What? Okay. All right. So he looks like he's like wow. There's not really much going on with him either. That he has. He basically like a big heavy person, but Vox is probably gonna be like. I assume he's a little bit more acrobatic, but a lot of heavy attacks. He might have like some dark projectiles. It looks like if Grant does.
Mm-hmm.
There's not looks a lot like of information here.
Right, he has a karate style moveset, Ankoku Karate, granted to him by demonic forces of darkness. So there's Grant. So Vox being an assassin trained by... Okay, that makes sense. Sensible.
His fighting style is referred to as dark karate plus assassination arts.
Okay, interesting. Even though there's not a lot to go off of here, you can kind of imagine what a fighting game character like that would be like a lot of bouncing around and kind of like a Shoto adjacent. So Vox is one of the first characters revealed for this new Mark of the Wolves Fatal Fury game, and I wanted to explore the kind of the possibility of, you know, if Fatal Fury were to get a character who wasn't Terry, you know, to explore that world a little further, since SNK fighting games are so popular in certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't necessarily expect Terry to begin with.
No. You know, I mean, you kind of did.
Yeah.
I definitely was against him, not because I didn't like him, I just didn't see the chance of it. Vox is also one of two new characters to the latest Fatal Fury game as far as like the default roster is concerned. This game also has two real-life celebrity guest characters, which I don't know how to feel about this. They've got a soccer player and a DJ, a real-world soccer player and a real-world DJ.
Yeah.
Why? I don't fucking know. That's so weird to me.
Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo for Smash.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, he can kick around and do shockwaves and stuff. Hooray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as where I'm thinking about this guy, he's technically, I guess, I'm negative. I'll just put it that way. It's like I think a second Fatal Fury character is certainly possible, but I don't think it'd be this guy, this random guy from the newest game. It's either going to be like Rock or Geese or Andy or Mai. Hey, in this game, Mai has more clothes on, so she can be for good boys and girls now. Zachary, you got no more excuse.
Right.
Just saying. It's possible now.
Yeah, that's true.
I would expect one
yeah. Mai just crossed over into Street Fighter 6.
She did.
Along with Terry.
Did.
Yep.
And yet it's Ken and Chun-Li crossing from Street Fighter to Fatal Fury. Because apparently Ken has this whole meta rivalry with, I think it's Andy, that he has something going on with, if I remember right. So it's like, oh, we'll do Ken instead of Ryo because it's funny.
Yeah, I tend to agree. You know, again, this character was chosen before we can gauge his popularity. It seems like he's fairly popular, but he wasn't a breakout character. You know, which tends to be kind of what's been happening with the new fighting games recently.
I mean, to be fair, it's hard to make a new fighting game in a fighting game in an existing series, adding a bunch of new characters. Like, you're not gonna have the whole. They're not all of them gonna break out. Like for Street Fighter 4, they thought that Crimson Viper was gonna be the breakout character, so they put her into Marvel's Capcom 3. She wasn't. Juri was the breakout character, but thank God they didn't go with Hakan. because that just would have been very incorrect. Or Rufus. They were never going to be the breakout characters. They were still wrong. But like it's hard to know necessarily who is going to be the one that the audience latches to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And in the in the latest Street Fighters too, like Rashid and Luke being cover characters, they don't feel like they really took off in the same way that older characters have. Nor anyone from Street Fighter 6, really, or 5. Yeah, I would
Laura.
It's true, yeah. I would give him relatively low chances. 4 or 5%. Like 4%.
I'm gonna put him with Solaire 2%. I just don't see it. No, fuck it, 1%. Less chances of Solaire. I'll go there. Solaire has the Echo Fighter possibility. I see nothing for Vox. See nothing.
I see his red mark on his head.
What's your score?
3.
Okay. So 2%. Alright. Last character of the day. And a character that's also kind of complicated to think about for different reasons than Monster Hunter. It's the Doom guy, or the Doom Slayer, depending on which you want to call him. He rips, he tears, he makes demons wish they were somewhere else. He's been to Mars, he's been to Hell, he's been to the Middle Ages. Don't ask me to explain that one. I don't understand what the fuck's happening in that game.
Me either.
It confuses me. Has that game out yet?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, I actually did not know it was out.
Yep. It's been reviewing well, but there's been some sort of publisher drama. I'm not totally cued into it, but yeah, it's out. Isabel's best friend.
Isabel's best friend. Honestly, it's the best thing he has going for him. The second best thing he has going for him. Because we don't have any kind of shooter representation in Smash. The closest we have is Bayonetta and Snake. But I would not consider them shooter characters. And there is the old theory that they don't want real guns in Smash. Like, okay, well, Doomslayer can easily avoid the guns. It would not be hard for him. I mean, as far as like normal looking guns, because like I feel like if you don't have the BFG as a Final Smash, then what's the fucking point? Right. He definitely has enough tools, different kinds of weapons to pull from, both in his classic games and his more modern games.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like the shooter genre and potential characters, everybody always looks at the same two characters: Doom Guy or Master Chief.
Yeah.
Which one's it gonna be? And they're both owned by Microsoft now.
Yep. That makes it even harder. It's hard to say to begin with, because the Halo and Doom, just in the structure of these two series, they're almost the perfect antithesis to each other. You have a very methodical traditional shooter that modernized the genre in that way with Halo, and then you have absolute fucking chaos with Doom.
Yeah.
Two very different things. Both extremely popular. Both cultivated the genre in their respective eras and are still popular now. I mean, Doom, is still active. Halo kind of fell off, but a little bit.
Something I want to just say with the comment you mentioned. That you mentioned like Halo modernized the era. I would say both of them modernized their eras. Doom Guy didn't necessarily create the shooter era, because I think Wolfenstein was first, if I remember correctly, but it's what popularized it and formed it. Halo reformed it, but then New Doom is when like, okay, now we're not just shooting, now we're also an action game while shooting,
right?
Because original Doom, like, you could kind of call it that, except there was like it was all flat plane going through a maze, more or less. It's not like you could jump off walls and hit things with a fucking chainsaw.
The gameplay in the new Doom games is cool. Like, I wish I were good at these sorts of games because I'd be all over that. Like, seeing these people fly everywhere. Yeah, it is for sure. And that's the complication, right? Because Halo is regarded in the shooter genre almost like, with the same reverence that Zelda and Mario are. In their respect, like it has been grandfathered in. If there's never another peep from the Halo franchise ever again, it has already immortalized itself with its importance in the shooting genre and gaming in general.
The first three were considered pretty much perfect. I mean, I take some issues with a couple things in them, like 2's ending was shit. I'll say it. But overall, the franchise, like, it's pretty solid. After that is where it started to fall off. But
right. Yeah, and whereas Bethesda, they kind of started the modern shooter craze, like you said, with Wolfenstein and the original Dooms. And then they came back. It's an interesting arc, where they're literally, it's like a U-shaped curve around Halo.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Doomslayer, it's a toss-up. It's one of them. I would not be shocked at all if we got either Chief or Doomslayer. What I would be shocked by is if we got both.
Yes, especially considering they're both Microsoft now. What makes it hard to discuss the two of them, because you can't discuss Doomguy without discussing Master Chief, even though we are really only discussing Doomguy here. What makes it hard for me to say which one is more likely than the other, and also determining a score for either or, is Doomguy, on the one hand, you have an easier time getting away from regular guns. But Doomguy is also the one that's more like, okay, if we don't make him rip and tear, then he's not going to feel like Doomguy. Master Chief, meanwhile, you can be more simple with him. He doesn't have to, like, have this big specific way that he interacts, but he is more normal gun like. Like, you could give him Covenant weapons or Forerunner weapons, or whatever the hell they were called in 5. I don't remember. Like give him the plastic grenades or the plastic pistols and all that stuff. The needler, the sword. But
yeah,
I feel like it'd be a little weird if he didn't have any human weaponry. I don't know. That might just be a personal thing. I do think the sword should be there and the plasma grenade should be there. The rest of it, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's harder to unchain him from regular bullets.
Right. And it's also interesting. Doom is, it's a more current franchise. It's on Nintendo consoles. They are actively making it a point to bring Doom to Switch, and Doom to Switch 2, I imagine, is around the corner. I would not be surprised at all if Dark Ages is ported soon. All speculative at this point, but the reasoning's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you want to muddy the waters even more, for Bethesda, which is now owned by Microsoft, are you getting Doomslayer or are you getting Elder Scrolls?
Yeah.
So there's this whole thing. Are you gonna get fucking Davakin or whoever's in Elder Scrolls 6? So it's a toss up, and all of these characters, unlike Vox Reaper or whatever, this is the upper echelon. Like, this is like as close to something happening for a third party as I can imagine. I would be surprised if we did not get, after the show we got an Ultimate, more Microsoft representation in 6.
Yeah. Because we got Banjo and Steve. It was like, what the, like, we kind of thought we might get one of Banjo, Steve, or Master Chief. The fact that we got 2 was like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
And it is still Smash. There's a reverence for the icons.
Yeah.
So
and Microsoft is very friendly with Nintendo right now.
And Chief and Doomslayer are both icons, so it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So this is almost it's kind of a cop-out. This is like a blanket percentage almost. It's I'm trying to get away from saying this is Doom or Chief. But you know, for in the spirit of brevity, like what, 60% higher up there for sure.
Well, it's interesting because I did look to see we have previously in previous seasons rated Master Chief and the Dragonborn, and I'll tell you what we said for them after we solidified Doomguy here. But I see your 60. I'm not going to go that high because I personally think I would give the nod to Master Chief over Doomguy. I'm going to go with 40, and then I'll even out to an even 50%.
Okay.
And now, just to let you know, and I got also refresh our viewers, in season 4, I gave Master Chief 65% chance. You gave him an 80% chance, and our guest for that episode has
Holy
75.
smokes.
Yeah. So, and he averaged out to 73% chance in season 4. Dragonborn, we did in season 5, where I gave him 50% chance. I might have been thinking about Doomguy at the time. I don't really know. And you gave him 60, and he landed up to 55. So, like, all three of these were all just like, yeah, the odds of them are really good. It's hard to say who it's going to be, though, because it could easily be just like one of the three. Doomguy could invalidate both of the other two. I don't. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
I think we're it's hard to say. We could get Chief and Doomguy. It'd be weird. Who knows? It's a world of possibility.
It really is. It really is. But that will do it for today's Rate Their Chances. Now we get to move on and start talking about Smash or Dash.
Who we smashing today, my boy?
Well, we got 2 matchups, as we always do. That's never changed. The number of characters has before, but the number of matchups never has. First of all, we're talking about spoilers here for Xenoblade. By the way, big Xenoblade spoilers. If you don't want to know anything about the first game, leave. Fiora from Xenoblade 1 against KOS-MOS, who is from the Xenogears franchise, which is kind of like the predecessor to Xenoblade. We've got a whole thing going on today. But we got these two together. We picked these two because Fiora kind of gets fucked up early in Xenoblade 1. You're led to believe that she's been killed. And then late in the game, you find out, oh, you kind of were, but you were also kind of revived as a cyborg, basically. And she can't live without her cybernetic stuff until the story is over and that they kind of hand away some bullshit. And she has blades now. She has drones that can fire things out for her. She's Shulk's best friend and the girl he wants to be more than friends with. Sorry, Melia. Boy, when Fiora got revived, Melia's chance to just die. It's like, oh, you poor girl.
Wasn't the like I love you as a friend or something?
Oh, God. And then you have fucking Rex being a dumbass in Xenoblade 2. It's like, oh, hey, this girl's is confessing her love to me. I love you too. And all of you guys. Oh, dear God. Yeah. It's like, you just, like, you see her face, just like, go, oh. It's so, Rex, you idiot. To be fair, I called Rex an idiot, but in the end, he got all 3. The fuck?
Yeah. The picture of that in like Xenoblade 3 when you're like, oh, okay.
Yep. But Fiora is the first one we're talking about here. Like at the start of the game, she's just a twin dagger user, but then when she comes back later on, her weapon is completely different now because she's a fucking robot. I'm trying to find what her stuff actually is. I know, like, drones like her main art, but I think she also has like she summons like she still does have like 2. I think it's like twin swords now or something. I think at some point still having
like those longer blades.
Yeah, but it's like all of her arts pretty much revolve around the drones that she can summon out, which are cannon, gun, sword, shield drones. And she has things as well: healing, zero gravity, various things along that nature. KOS-MOS, meanwhile, is not the main. Much like Fiora is not the main character of Xenoblade. KOS-MOS is not the main character of Xenogears, but she is absolutely the face character. While Xion is the lead of the Xenoblades, the Xenosaga series, nobody fucking talks about Xion. Nobody knows who Xion is. KOS-MOS is the character that is recognized. And if we're going to get a character from the franchise, it's easily KOS-MOS.
Yeah.
She's been in most, if not all, of the games, which I think it's only 3. So yeah, she's been in all of them as a playable character. She even cameo is the wrong word. She's a blade in Xenoblade 2 that you can unlock her alongside another character from her game, T-ELOS, or T-ELOS, however the hell you say it. But it's not like canon KOS-MOS. I don't know, it's confusing because you shouldn't be here. But KOS-MOS' weapon is basically just like big old cannon. Big cannon, big gun, big laser. Gatling guns. She has, it's called like an F scythe. I don't know what that's gun or if that's like a literal fucking scythe that she has. Big ass explosions. Basically, we have the 2 leading ladies of these games, which are both robot or robot adjacent. And one of them is the spiritual successor to the other.
Right. Interesting when you put it that way. And yeah, I think I'd be remiss to not point out that we did a Xenoblade kind of deep dive episode with Kelly recently on topic. So if you want to hear us harp on more about Xenosaga and Xenogears and Xenoblade and all of that,
really just Xenoblade.
Hop on over there.
The others.
Mostly Xenoblade, yeah. A little bit though. You get to hear about certain religious figures.
I do want to play Xenogears or Xenosaga. I guess both at some point. It's just they've not been re-released on modern consoles like ever. It's trapped on the PS2
and the DS, if I recall.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I think it does have a DS port. It's like I'd rather do the PS2 version.
Yeah, what's interesting is that if you kind of look at what these characters are capable of, it's like Fiora is kind of
She's the
natural evolution of KOS-MOS. Yeah. It a lot of what they can do, like like KOS-MOS has the X-Buster and Scythe, so there's some different stuff like projectile usage, and Scythe is just arguably cooler than dual blades.
Shit.
But at the same time, I being a more modern game, I guess Fiora also just feels like she has more to her in terms of moveset capability. The usage of the drones and having the multiple different types of drones as the center of the moveset is interesting enough, and then slash around and do the things with the blade arm stuff. So both of these characters are cool.
They're also both in the Project Cross Zone games.
Yeah, they are. That's odd. But I think there's also something to say about KOS-MOS being perhaps a less technical character. Xenoblade has the inclination in Smash and in their respective games to really harp in on the tech arts and make the characters a little more technical, like Shulk anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Fiora would kind of skirt the line between the technicality of Shulk and then more of the accessibility of Pyra and Mythra. I feel like she would be like in the middle. KOS-MOS, I don't know, from what I'm reading, might be more Pyra and Mythra, like more straightforward.
Yeah. And there's always an argument for straightforward characters. Like, not every character needs to be heavy focused on a gimmick. Some, it makes sense. But I've harped on this before. It's a problem that any franchise has when they are constantly adding new characters over and over. Like, just over time, they're adding so many more. They get to the point where they feel like everything has to have a new gimmick. Nothing can be simple anymore. It's like, chill. Simple is still okay.
Yeah. Smash 4 was really bad for that, as we know.
Ultimate's DLC as well.
Yeah. And I guess it's interesting that you have Xenosaga here as the predecessor in a way to Xenoblade, the spiritual one anyway. So you're like halfway into introducing like a new world that still has elements of Xenoblade in it. or expanding upon Xenoblade, one of Nintendo's like breakout RPG franchise. Who knew it would happen?
Yep.
So both very valid points. You can get a lot of crossover with Fiora and the other Xenoblade characters and whatnot. Whereas Xenosaga could be like its own thing. And I think there's a respect to KOS-MOS. Like Xenosaga hasn't been re-released on modern consoles, but she was still in Cross Zone. She still was a Secret Blade in Xenoblade 2. Like she's still in the public discussion.
Yeah.
Despite and it makes me wonder, like in this world of like sci-fi JRPGs, she's an iconic character. Certainly more iconic than Mecha-Fiora.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I would say that if we were to get a second character from Xenoblade 1, specifically from Xenoblade 1, easily Fiora is the pick. I mean, you can make an argument for Melia. I think Melia could be interesting. I made a moveset for her previously. You've made a moveset for Fiora. That's on the wiki as well. But I easily picked Fiora as a second character from Xenoblade 1. It's not going to be Dunban. It's not going to be Ryan or Charlotte or Riki. Maybe Riki. Maybe Riki. That'd be if they really wanted something just like completely out there and different.
Yeah.
But it's Fiora or bust. And then similarly with Xenosaga, if Xenosaga gets into Smash, it's KOS-MOS or bust. It's not going to be Shion.
Yeah. And it's not going to be T-ELOS or anyone. It's very clear.
T-ELOS is the Echo Fighter. I don't even know if that's possible. I may be speaking blasphemy. I have no idea what T-ELOS can do outside of Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, and then I guess Fiora has more. Yeah, I agree. First of all, like she's a strong inclusion for Xenoblade. Like it's a no-brainer. If they had the room to say in the next Smash, like, oh, we're gonna put Noah in the game, but we want another character who's more unique than the sword guy. Let's put in Fiora. Like it's an easy sort of in, but chances are decent. More so than KOS-MOS, but in the Smash or Dash landscape, I'm pretty torn. I can go either way on these characters.
I may have just gotten a spoiler about T-ELOS, and I'm very what the fuck? Huh? Yeah. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. That's. I'll talk about that later when we're not recording. Wow, that's not something I would
have. You would have suspected.
No.
I was wondering what was going on with your face. It's like, what are you looking?
I'm moving on. I can't look this up right now. I need to play this game even more now because I'm confused and I need answers.
Well,
where are we? What are we doing? What's happening?
Smash or Dash?
I know that much.
Fiora and KOS-MOS. Yes.
That much I know. Where are we at in it?
They're evenly matched. We must decide.
Oh, we're deciding now. Okay.
In a way, yes. I feel like, yeah, the character it's a crapshoot. Like you just kind of go with what you feel like.
I need to stop reading about KOS-MOS. I need to stop reading about this character and their history and everything going on because I know things I should not know.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know if it's something you learn early in the game or not, or if it's a legging reveal that I just read about. It's like I shouldn't know this yet. Whoa. Okay. Let me just say that there's a lot more going on with KOS-MOS than we knew. As far as like her history and things.
Within the
you know how Monolith likes to do things and just break your brain?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just happened. We're voting now. We're voting between these two. I like both of these. I would not be upset without these characters getting in. Um, I do have to say though, I like the idea more of having KOS-MOS in the game. But that's before the stuff I just read. I was already likely leaning that direction. It's like, it's different franchise, which isn't necessarily a point against Fiora because she's a new character, therefore I don't care about it as much. But I like having more things, and I think KOS-MOS adds more. She's a new franchise representative character that also is connected to Nintendo, sort of. The rights for her might be a little bit complicated, but we don't care about that for Smash Dash.
Yeah, interesting. I agree. I'm voting KOS-MOS as well for the reasons that you had mentioned. I kind of had the feeling that I would, but yeah, the characters in terms of like capabilities and background are pretty evenly matched. It was a good matchup, but at the end of the day, KOS-MOS is a different series and is an iconic character in the greater gaming culture discussion. Like she's a character. People from that generation, even if they're not gamers, they would know her design, probably. Like, she's everywhere.
KOS-MOS is also Tails. Let me clarify. In the first and third game, KOS-MOS has the same voice actors. In the Xenoblade Saga 2, KOS-MOS is voiced by Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who's the voice actress for Tails. In the anime, they have a different voice, and then in Xenoblade 2, they have a different voice.
Wonderful. Great. Is that what you figured out that blew your mind?
No. No.
God.
I'll talk about it when we're done.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It would be cool to see KOS-MOS interact with the Xenoblade crew in Smash too, which I'm sure they'll figure something out.
Add stories and voice connections to things, so we can see these characters interact in weird ways.
I want to see them fight the Primage together once more.
No, not like that. Anyways, we got one matchup. What about second matchup? Whereas our first one, we had two characters that were kind of similar-ish, with one being the spiritual successor to the other. Second matchup is more the same, because we got Soma Cruz of Castlevania with the Castlevania spiritual successor, Miriam from Bloodstained. And if I recall correctly, both these characters play pretty similarly. If I remember picking them correctly, you know better, so you tell me shit.
Soma is from Castlevania. There's a subset in the Castlevania history where they're in the future, like several. I think it was several hundred years into the future. Like Soma's from like 23.
It's like modern. Technically, like 2035 is when Aria Sorrow takes place, and the Dawn of Sorrow is the next year.
Okay. Yeah, then that tracks then. And so Dracula's castle is in the sky, and Soma and his friend are transported there, and they fight the Dracula monsters and this and that, and there is a big story twist that I don't know if we have to spoil that is interesting. Because,
we've already said the spoilers about Fiora. Spoilers for Castlevania and Soma Cruz.
Okay, Soma is the reincarnation of Dracula. Blammo. Yeah, but he's a good guy. Like Zangief would say.
He goes from being a badass vampire villain to a bitchy, whiny high schooler. That's right, I said it.
There's a bit of that going on.
Maybe bitchy's maybe I'm using the wrong direction. But I watched a Let's Play of both of these two games, and my impression is so much like, wow, you are a dumbass.
Him and Richter. Good times. But back in the day, Aria of Sorrow Brought the wonders of Symphony of the Night and its battle system, where you are taking all of these different, essentially like summons. The enemies, you can either summon them onto your side to battle with you once you collect their soul or their glyph, and then or translate that into like a weapon. So like you get the skeleton soul, and then you're able to throw the skeleton's bones like they would, that sort of thing. So Miriam, and Koji Igarashi, Konami had a certain phase that we're all aware of, where people like Iga and got screwed. So, and Kojima and so all these great developers. So when Iga had his falling out with Konami, he turned around and was like, I can do this shit, just call it Bloodstained.
Yeah.
Had a successful Kickstarter, and now it's just kind of like, in the public eye, and is a fairly popular indie series that just is Castlevania.
Yeah,
it just is Castlevania.
Like
with a dog and a mech.
A new one got shown off at the Microsoft show a while ago at the time of this episode recording or airing. And when they were showing it, I was just like, "Oh, new Castlevania," and then it was like, "No, Bloodstained's." Like, all right, that's fair. That okay. I'll take being fooled because it's Bloodstained. It's just new Castlevania.
Yeah, same damn thing, just not with Dracula yet.
Yeah. But Cyber Dracula.
Yeah. I have a feeling he's probably in Xenosaga along with Jesus. But yeah, Miriam, much the same way. Like her primary weapon is like a sword, I guess, since it's one of the first weapons that you get in the game. Same for Soma. He has like a short blade. But you have access to all of these different weapons. And Miriam is interesting because there's an alchemic background to what her moves do. Like she has shards that have been placed all over her body. So that's like what the tattoo kind of stuff is, that were planted there by alchemists that she was raised by. And they were going to sacrifice her to summon a giant demon to destroy the world.
Question.
Yes.
Why is she not being paired up against Shinoa?
I don't know. We could have done it.
It's literally Shinoa.
In a way, yeah. I think we just went with Soma because he's more popular for modern Metroidvania, I guess. But
I think he's like the most recent protagonist. I think outside of like when they were doing reboots.
Actually, Shinoa is a newer protagonist than Soma.
Really?
But, yeah. There's a few. Shinoa, Jonathan, and Charlotte. They're all, and some of the largest Shadow characters too. But Soma is, Aria of Sorrow is in the same breath as Symphony of the Night, like as a flagstone game, a flagship game. So that's where his inclusion came to be. But it's Metroidvania. It's this medieval. It's the Castlevania side of things. You're getting these medieval dark monsters, and you're using their abilities and their weapons to make your way through Dracula's castle, or not Dracula's castle, but a castle still in Bloodstained. So those are the two characters, and then you just kind of dive into. I think how we do this might be just diving into their wikis and seeing their individual huge list of things they can do.
Yeah, I don't know where that is. I tried looking.
Let me check.
Soma is in 4 games, between Aria of Sorrow, Dawn of Sorrow, Harmony of Despair, and Grimoire of Souls. And there's a fuck ton of different souls across each of them. Miriam, I'm trying to find Miriam's actual stuff, and I'm not finding it on her wiki. So I don't know. Oh, here we go. Maybe this other shard. So she has various types. There's conjure shards, manipulative, direction. Shards can be aimed using Miriam's. Oh, okay. Basically, it's just. so many.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't know why these are different. Like, why? What the fuck is the difference between Conjure Shard and? I mean, I guess she can aim and Conjure Shard's going to fixed direction, I guess. But like Miriam, I'm looking at her stuff. She has Conjure Shard, so single shot projectile that goes in a fixed direction. Directional, she can aim it. Manipulative, something that she can just activate some kind of effect. Or I see. It's like accelerator. She just moves faster. Stand still. She projects field and stops time. Conjure has things like whip out a tentacle from the par, launch a bouncing ball of water at enemies, call forth a giant rat instead of blunt foes. Funny. Directional shard is like, swing a massive fist in the designated direction. Gold bullet, weaponize 1% of your total gold and throw in the designated direction. Chaser arrow, shoot a homing arrow. Passive shard, just passive effects. Increase your intelligence stat. Increase damage from shoes. Okay. Increase resistance to fire.
There's some karate going on there.
Yeah. Familiar shard looks like it actually summons things to help you out, like summon Silver Knight or Boot-chan from the Magical Girl Cosmetic Pack DLC.
Yeah.
There's also Dandelion, not to be confused with Dandelion from The Witcher. Very different.
Yeah.
It's a
Dandelion
demon head coming out of a book.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't say it's a lion. It just looks like a book.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There is a lion.
Shards,
I think it's called like a viewer or something.
Skill shards like, hey, double jump and reverse gravity on just you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. And then she also has just like other weapons in general besides just like the shards. Like she's got a whip, dagger, rapier, axe, and sickle. She's got all of those. Soma, meanwhile,
also has most of those weapons.
Yeah,
he also has most of those weapons, and again, like him and Miriam both have this ability to. You're talking about anti-grav, where you're like in this zone, and there's like this thing that you can, press a button and use it to aim you and sling you into the air. Like there's a lot of Iga's DNA is the same.
Yeah,
between these two characters.
Because Soma has supersonic wave attacks from the bat, firing a water pistol from the merman, creating a blade vortex around its foes that he gets from the tiny devil. Flings hot curry at its foes from the waiter skeleton.
And things do get this absurd in Bloodstained as well. And again, there's a dog that pilots a robomech with a drill.
That's in Curse of the Moon, specifically.
Yeah. And Zangetsu. And yeah, like KOS-MOS and Fiora, this is also an opportunity to think of like the world that they're bringing in. It's Bloodstained is a little different. You're dealing with alchemists and demons instead of old school Dark Ages vampires, monsters. So it's kind of a cool, almost sciencey vibe to it. It's in the underbelly. And Miriam, I'll just say it. I like her better as a character. Her personality, her design, it is more interesting than Soma, despite the twist that Soma has to his background.
Something I like just with Miriam that I'm saying, and this might be incorrect. It's something that can almost seem like in how the art is portraying her holding her sword. It looks like she uses it in a reverse grip. I don't know if she actually does it in game, but the art is implying she's a reverse grip user, at least with that particular sword. Because she's got other weapons where she's in different poses. It's like
she does have some swords where she brings it. Yeah.
So that's interesting to me because I think we've got a lot of sword fighters in Smash, right?
Right.
We do, but nobody is a reverse grip in Smash, and that'd be very different in terms of animation and how she attacks with just her regular blades.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they didn't give her other weapons, it's still like, okay, she's not a basic sword fighter because reverse grip.
Right. Soma with his standard rapier is similar to Alucard.
Yeah. But I also can't tell because some of her art, it looks like she would be swinging it normally, and it's very confusing to me.
It's kind of like just why not both? Because there are so many different weapons, and she's just somehow capable of using all of them.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I feel like the enemies and the souls that you collect in Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow are so iconic to Castlevania and modern like Metroidvania games. That's also kind of inescapable. Like you mentioned, the skeletons, the zombies, all those early level monsters, they could play a part in Soma's moveset. Not to mention like the Bat Soul Medusa heads. There's a lot you can pull from classic Castlevania, classic Metroidvania for his moveset.
Both of these characters have the problem of, oh no, there's too much. What do we pick?
Right. Which might be an okay problem to have. I think in their cases,
I think you would start. You just research what is most iconic and what people like using the most. Like what people would be more excited to see in the game. Because like, are people going to be excited to see throwing a lantern from the Spectre? Probably not.
Right.
But they might be amused by throwing flaming hot curry.
Yeah, I would be. That's funny. Dracula's out there slinging curry. Amazing. And I'm looking at a fodder concept that someone came up with for Soma years ago on the Smash Brothers subreddit. I can't give them credit because they deleted their account. Whoops. But they took it from the approach that you do with some of your movesets, like for EXE and Yugi, where it's like, you don't know what to do? Well, here, let's just give him everything. And we talked about, not having, the benefit of a straightforward moveset versus a more complicated one.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be that way with every character. No. If Soma or Miriam are known for souls and shards and collecting all of those things, and there is a way to rotate the wheel or have a randomizer or some sort of way to bring in all of these different summons or all of these different weapons, and that's what the series, like the genre of game, is kind of known for. So, okay.
like Smash 4 had custom moves, but they were largely half-baked at best.
Right.
Palutena, outside of the main fighters, was the only character that had legitimate different moves for all of her special moves. Mega Man was close. But it's like Soma and Miriam, and God, people like EXE and Yuki and all these other characters that we've done, a lot of these other characters we've made movesets for, would really benefit from having customers where it's like, okay, we can't give you everything, but here's 12. Pick which ones you want. Granted, you have like 3 choices for each special move. It's like, now you could pick how you want Soma to play. But these two characters would both greatly benefit from that system coming back and being made properly.
Totally. Now, what would happen in Smash proper is just Alucard would just get in.
Yes. Alucard would just get in. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah. He's fucking cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these two characters, it's a toss-up for me. On one hand, I feel like what you can summon in Castlevania is just inherently cooler in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But Miriam is better than Soma. So it's like, and then you have the benefit of like, oh, you're exploring this different world, and Blood and Igarashi did a good job of not making Bloodstained feel entirely like a carbon copy of Castlevania. Like he made it out of necessity, but it still has its own pulse. So it's interesting. To give another world and franchise the nod when you can or when you feel like.
Yeah.
So I am torn. I could convince myself either way, but what are you thinking?
Like you said, like these characters both more or less play the same, or theoretically bring in the same amount of potential. All these different things that they can, some all these different attacks they can do: throw spears, shoot water bullets. I guess only one can throw curry, so that might be a point in Soma's favor. Just is. But they're borderline in terms of like how Smash works, borderline the same. So what we come down to is the characters themselves, who they are, what they are from, who we just like more. That happens.
Yeah.
We can do whatever criteria we want for Smash Dashes because the logic does not come into play here. It's just what we would choose. I am well documented as saying, we talked about earlier in the same episode, I prefer representing a new third-party franchises over giving a second or third character to an existing one. That doesn't necessarily mean I will always vote along those lines, but there is always that level of bias to me. If we were talking about Alucard versus Miriam, or instead of Soma versus Miriam, it'd make it a little bit more difficult because there are some characters that against like Soma's a bad example to say that with. Like if it was like Alucard versus Jonathan Morris, like why the fuck would I vote for Jonathan Morris over like Miriam easily beats Jonathan Morris, but Alucard probably would beat Miriam, even though she'd be a new franchise. Soma and Miriam being more or less the same, just there's some differences exactly what they but they both have like hundreds of options. I kind of default to new shiny.
Yeah.
And also, on top of that, we don't got to do a Konami bullshit.
That's also true. It would be funny. It would be pretty funny to have Castlevania and Bloodstained both actively represented in the same Smash game.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of me would lean Soma to give a nod to that era of Castlevania, to say that perhaps the summons on the overall may be a little more interesting, a little better, because you have this decades of material you can draw from this specific franchise. But Miriam has plenty. I feel comfortable voting for her. I'm kind of just 50-50 on it, so if your vote's her, you push me into the 51. And I'm okay with that. I think, that they both are on the same ground enough with their capability that they kind of stand the same chance in the greater tournament of champions. There's no like, oh, Castlevania is, no, it's all the same to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, KOS-MOS and Miriam win the day, and we will see them both in the vastly approaching Tournament of Champions.
Oh yeah.
At the end of this season, there's only one more regular Smashers episode left, and I don't think regular is the word I would use to describe that episode of Smash Ups. I mean, we always get a little loose with the penultimate Smash Ups episode of the season, but yeah. Let me just tell you guys right now, it's I don't know what's gonna happen with that episode.
More extreme than putt.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, but it's a funny idea that we're rolling with.
More extreme than the normal Pokemon Rattata Bidoof challenge.
Yeah, easily. That's
good times.
If you want to get weird, just say it's more extreme than Clippy and AOL Man. Actually, is it?
Yeah.
More extreme than SpongeBob and Shrek.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's good.
Well, that's not next episode, so we don't need to talk anymore about that. But next episode, it's our penultimate on topic, but it's going to be a nice, chill, easy one. We're just talking about games and more. Because the menu in Smash 4 and Ultimate is like games and more. It's like, hey, why are we putting like fucking classic mode under this weird ass banner? We're basically talking about the mini games and all the other stuff that we haven't already talked about, like that's in Smash, like home run contest, the trophy collector, all the smaller stuff we'll be talking about.
Right.
Get all in one banner.
There we go. Hooray.
There we go. And with that, we'll see you then, I guess, unless you skip that episode and you go to a different one, in which case we'll see you some other point. I don't know. You live your own life.
Autoplay. Yeah.
Goodbye. Farewell, and don't eat all the fish.